All right, family. Welcome. It's June 17th, 2025. Another mentorship call in the books. Super grateful for all of you guys, that are here tuned in live. Also, those that are watching the recording as well, too. This is something that you guys are gonna be able to go back in, study, get familiar with. A lot of people have this confusion or really don't know the difference in regards to personal credit and business credit. So I'm here to debunk that. I'm here to help show you guys the difference and help bring that clarity towards personal credit versus business credit and what the difference is. It's pretty simple. A lot of people overcomplicate it. There's no reason to, so we're going to get right into it. So the biggest difference when it comes to personal credit is everything is tied to your social security number. The same thing though is there's a TIN number. So they're both 9 digits. So I want you to write down, what is the same, or maybe have a compare and contrast, graph, have the two circles and the intersecting and the one in the middle, says that there's a TIN number. So there's 9 digit number. All right. So that's something which they do have in common. Something that's different is on personal credit. They're simply just reporting and really checking the things that are tied to the social security number. So with business credit, it's an EIN number. So they're both 9 digits, but they're separated a little bit differently. So the social security number, which yes is 9 digits, but it's separated differently than the EIN number. And the social is something that we're born with and that we leave the hospital with. These EINs can all be created. Another big difference as well is that their credit reporting agencies are a little bit different. Where on the personal credit side, we've got TransUnion, where on the business credit side, we have Duns and Bradstreet. We've got another corporation called Duns and Bradstreet, and Equifax and Experian are Equifax Business and Experian Business. So they're different corporations than what we see on the personal side as well. Yes, they got the same first part of the name, but they are different, right? Experian Business and Equifax Business. And then in terms of the credit score models, on the personal credit side, we've got a FICO credit score, and that typically ranges from like a 300 to 850. We know 850 is the highest credit score that we can get. And then we on the business credit side, it's called a PAYDEX score. So it's not a FICO, but it's a PAYDEX, and it goes 0 through 100. And you guys can check this on sites like nav.com, where you guys can check your business credit PAYDEX score. Also, for personal credit, for your credit reports, you guys can go to annualcreditreport.com. Annual credit report. And then in order to check your personal credit score, I always recommend Identity IQ, as they're just the most reliable that I've seen on the personal credit side and most accurate. Okay. So those are really the biggest differences between personal credit and business credit. When it comes to building the business credit, we're going to be focusing on vendor trade lines. So things called net 30s, net 60s, and net 90s prior to getting business funding. So we are going to want to, these are similar to primary accounts. So these are the key differences. Social Security, EIN, the main users, the business. We want to make sure as well our businesses are all tied to our 508c1a. We don't want to we don't want to have any type of tie with our personal name to our business. The name of the game is to own nothing but control everything. So I believe, why does this matter? Right? Credit separation, keeping business credit separate shields your personal assets from business liabilities and helps you scale your enterprise independently. And so, with that being said, once again, we don't want our name attached to it as well. A lot of times, and just that slave mentality is ownership. And a lot of people want to have personal ownership when that's not how the wealth operate. They operate off of trusts and putting businesses and entities within trust and having them operate off of trust, not off their personal name, who was granted and given to them by the United States corporation, right? We want to put it in our own entities that we've created that are private entities, right? So in a second, we're going to go over how to set up a bank account with the 508c1A as well too. So setting up a proper business structure, you want to form a legal entity, the LLC, through the Secretary of State. You want to get an EIN number. That's all that they'll ask for, is that articles of incorporation. The articles of incorporation is with the Secretary of State, and then an EIN number. And you're getting that through the IRS website. Super simple. You want to have a business number. You want to have a professional email as well. You guys can do that all through Google. The 1-800 number, you guys can just look up on Google and get that as well too, very easily. And then you want to open up a business bank account. I recommend working with and building relationships with regional banks or credit unions, right? Regional banks or credit unions are the best typically, especially when you guys are starting out as a new business. They're going to give you guys the most funding. So who are the regional banks in your guys' area? I want you guys, that's homework that I have for you guys. Find out who are the regional banks in the areas, in the area where you guys live. Is it PNC? Is it Truist? Who are the regional banks in your guys' area? Then you want to get the DUNS number. This is completely free. They're gonna try to upsell you on something that's about $200. The DUNS number is completely free. This is similar to like another EIN number that's gonna help you build and your paydex score, your business credit, and get business funding from banks. They're gonna check your DUNS number as well because they're the biggest reporting agency on the business credit side. And then, like I said earlier, talking about net 30s, these are the vendor accounts that you guys will build your business credit with. So everybody's familiar with Uline. You can literally go to Uline, go to their website, and you can order something, quick order. We can check their products. Let's see. We'll do retail. So all of these bags, the gift wrap, clothing racks, and accessories. So all of this can be bought and purchased. So let's say these are 120. Let's say we needed 100 of them, right? That'd be about 10,000. Well, we can actually get that fronted for our business where we can get those 100 sent over to us, get them in the stores, and then make a payment on those in 30 days. So we'll get approved for a certain limit and a certain amount, and then they'll fund us. And then after 30 days, all we'll have to do is just pay off the amount that we had spent. So that's a net 30. There's net 60s, there's net 90s. We want to add on about 2 to 4 of these. And then we also want to apply for other vendor accounts like nav.com, and add on store accounts. I like to do the fuel cards. So these are the gas cards like Shell Fleet, Wex, Luke Oil is also another good one. And then next, I would say is building business credit with no PG, no personal guarantee cards. So these are not going off your personal credit at all. These are all simply off the business credit. And you'll be able to get these after you guys have added on a couple of these gas cards, as you guys have done these other net 30s. And we've got ebooks with tons of net 30s that you guys can add on. So these are just a couple. You guys will have access to all of these as well too under the recording for today's call. When it comes to the personal credit side, there's 6 data points that we're looking for. So this is what separates the business credit versus personal credit. On the personal side, there's just these 6 data points. And that's payment history. So that's why if you guys have ever been late, ever missed a payment, it's affected your credit score more than anything, probably just from being late or missing that payment. The next is credit utilization. Right, the next is credit utilization. So if you guys have any credit cards that are maxed out, that's definitely going to hurt your credit score as well too. How do we keep our name unattached? You want to have trust. So you want to set up trust. You want to and have everything operating under this trust. So my vehicle, for example, the title isn't in my name, right? It's in this trust that I set up. and it's a private trust. There's no filing that I had to do. All right, it's not. I don't got no reporting. I don't got to report to nobody annually. I don't got to report to the Secretary of the State. I don't got to report to any of these foreign corporations. It's a organization that I've assembled and that people have been assembling since the beginning of, this republic. And so it's a private trust. It's what most churches are set up as. It's a faith-based organization. It's called a 508c1a, and there's tons of tax benefits off of this as well too. And this is what you guys all have access to being in the mentorship. And I believe that's the most powerful, document that y'all can get your guys' hands on, especially once you truly understand how to operate. And I just uploaded within the mentorship course a video on how to operate the 508c1a, how to transfer any of your guys' assets into the 508c1a. But finishing off this call and the 6 data points. Number 3 is the length of your credit history. So you want to have at least 5 years. That's about 15% of your report. And then another 10% is you want to have what types of accounts? You want to have 10 open accounts, a mix of different open accounts. So things like in Credit Strong, Rental Karma, Rent Reporters, all these rental accounts that you can add on that will build your credit. So what is Credit Strong? This is also something that you can do to build your business credit. You can get up to $50,000 to report onto your business credit. But these are just ways to build an 86-point increase. This is with your personal credit. So there's just different plans that can increase your credit score tremendously if you guys are looking to build your report. So that's Credit Strong. There's tons of accounts like that. We have that all in the Discord as well. If you guys come here and go to the personal credit blueprint section, we've got that. All right, so we've had these sections for years and just been building over more information on more information with each one. So the last two would be inquiries and derogatory remarks. Now, if there are derogatory remarks, we know that with consumer law, we can get any one of these accounts removed. So that's everything for today. Does anybody have any questions in regards to the difference between personal and business credit? Once again, really the personal's got the social, where the business has the EIN, and it's fully operated off the EIN. Now the EIN though is still attached to a lot of you guys' personal names, so we want to get that attached to a 508c1a trust, some type of entity other than your personal name, because it's called a limited liability corporation. There's still limited liability.